It's the TheStick9erEmpire Podcast Show with your hosts, Iron Mike Arango, Lucas McLaughlin, and Lucas Ortiz.
To the TheStick9erEmpire Podcast. I'm here with Lucas and Luke. Guys, great victory. Great victory. A show of utter dominance, if you ask me, for the most part, even on a game where the other team was blitzing, what was it, like 85% of the time, we were still able to get through. Ortiz, your thoughts?
Yeah, game that we needed, game that we weren't too worried about going in. And I think the Giants kind of came in limping. No Saquon Barkley. No real offensive weapons that really scared us, maybe outside of Darren Waller, and Niners handled their business. Defense looked like the best in the league. Offense put up their weekly 30 points, and we got out of there pretty unscathed with any injury. So, nice victory, nice win. Luke, what'd you see out there?
I was happy to see other running backs out there. Mitchell, it looked like were they sharing every other series, guys, for a little while there? I mean, it was actually really nice.
Nice run. Yeah, Mitchell carried. McCaffrey actually got the same amount of carries as he did the previous game. It's just we had more possession of the ball, so we were able to get Mitchell in there, and even a little bit of Mason at the end of the game.
Yeah, a little Mason too, and then Christian McCaffrey is still the best in the business, and I don't know what we do without him. He's going to take us to the promised land, guys.
Guys, are we still in agreement, or do you guys agree with me? I think CMC is the most valuable player in the league thus far. What do you guys think?
And on paper, he's probably the most valuable running back. I mean, because he's like all-purpose guy that's going to get you the win, and we haven't lost yet. What do you think, Lucas?
Well, we're recording this before the end of the week 3 games, so we don't really know, what to compare him to. I would say after the first 2 weeks for sure. Let's see how these Sunday games play out, and we'll have to revisit that topic and say whether or not he is the league MVP. I will say this though: it's going to be very hard for any running back to get that award. I don't think outside of Adrian Peterson about 11 years ago.
Yeah.
That's the last time I remember a running back getting it. It typically goes to a quarterback, and it's real difficult to overcome that hurdle. So he's going to have an amazing season. He's going to have to do it each and every week, and hopefully he'll be able to at least be in consideration for that award at the end of the season.
I agree with you. It is tough for running back, but at the moment, if you think about what the award is supposed to be, the most valuable player, it's in the title. At the very least, I'm hoping, again, he has to keep doing this, but I think at this moment, he's the most valuable offensive player in the league. I will say that, because the offense really just goes through him.
It does. And Brock Purdy is a big part of it too. And he didn't have the best game, but he did have a 300-yard game. No turnovers again. That's kind of the theme for this year, is keeping possession, not turning the ball over to the other teams, and controlling the ball, controlling the clock.
Absolutely.
So Purdy can easily make a case for being the MVP of this team as well. I mean, he's getting it to the playmakers. He's making good decisions out there, and he's poised. I love that skill out of him, is just not being flustered. Even though he's being blitzed 80 to 90% of the time, like he was against the Giants, kid just showed no.
It doesn't faze him.
Doesn't faze him, exactly.
Doesn't faze him. I have to give him credit for that. He looks down at that defense, and he shows absolutely no fear. He rolls around. He makes things happen, similar to Joe Montana. From most of his career, he was able to move around a bit. He doesn't have to run 20, 30 yards on a run, as long as he can move behind that line of scrimmage, and do what he has to do. My hands off to Purdy. He's done great with that. And hands off to him too, guys, for the fact that he started off the game a little rough. He did miss some passes in this game in the first half. I felt like we could have won by more, to be quite honest. I can't complain, because we're winning regardless, gentlemen. but he definitely missed some passes in the first half. But it's so crazy the way he comes back, and he'll miss. He missed some wide open passes, but then he comes and he makes these incredible touchdown passes with so much touch in the end zone. All those passes in the end zone had so much touch. The one to Beal, the one to Debo. He does have an it factor that most people don't. I think you would agree, Luke?
Yeah, and I think it was really nice to see other running or other receivers step up without Ayuk in there, and Ayuk is usually the number one guy out there, and it seemed like they really just spread it out and people just stepped up, and it was really good. And I thought, some of those touchdown passes were. So that one right in the corner was pretty sick when he got his feet right down right before he caught it. Who was that did that?
That was Ronnie Bell. Yeah, that was his first catch of his career is a touchdown pass.
That's pretty awesome. It was
incredible. Reach out, caught it with his hands, toe tapped. Ball was perfectly thrown, anticipated the break, and actually threw the ball before he was even open. But the rookie was able to come down with an amazing catch, and I want to see. I really am pulling for that guy to kind of be the number 3, maybe number 4 guy on the team. I know Juwan Jennings is now the number 3 guy, and he does a really good job of blocking. But I think Bell's a little more explosive, and I think he has more of the assets that Ayuk and Debo have, where he can take a short pass and take it all the way. He's really elusive and has some nice speed. So
yeah,
he had a nice game. I also thought Juwan Jennings had some clutch third down catches, typical of his game. He's kind of third and Juwan is his nickname. So, or Sticks, he likes to call himself Sticks because he likes to move the sticks. He had a really nice play on an early third down conversion, and it just seemed like we were getting a lot of those throughout the game. It was always a third down and 10, or a third down and 8, or sometimes even longer, and we just seemed to be moving the sticks as the game went along. And on the flip side, the defense was stopping the Giants on third down. So we had it on both sides of the ball, controlling the third down.
How many sacks did we have in that game, you guys?
Not that many. I think one by Bosa and one by Hargrave. Oh. Hargrave on a really nice bull rush where he just pushed this guy into the quarterback and just gave him no chance and sacked Daniel Jones. The other being on the Bosa getting his first sack of the game. I think it was kind of a busted pass coverage or pass blocking play where he just got in the backfield untouched, some kind of a bootleg, and he almost got a safety on it. I think he tackled the guy on the half-yard line, and to the naked eye, it looked like it would have been a safety. But going back on the replay and looking at it, he definitely didn't get the safety, and it led to.
It was close, though.
Yeah,
it was really close.
It led to a deep pump from their end zone, and I think we went ahead and scored after that.
It's not a safety because he basically pushed him back into the end zone.
Yeah, he made contact outside of the end zone.
Forward progress, so to speak. I think it's kind of silly rule, but
yeah, what are you gonna do?
I mean, because the guy's knees weren't down before he was in the end zone, so
it doesn't matter.
I know it doesn't matter, but from my standpoint, it's like, well, why do we even have the other rule then? If you think about it, I think it should be a safety. I don't see why not. Now, let me ask you something. If he pushes that quarterback into the end zone but doesn't get the sack and the guy slides out of it and runs, those yards still count, correct? It's not a safety.
Correct. As long as if he
exactly
breaks the tackle in the end zone and gets out of the end zone, then they still count.
Why shouldn't it be a safety? Why does all the benefit and all the rules have to favor the quarterback? That's what bothers me.
Yeah.
Well, they have that rule in the grasp, though. I have seen that happen in the end zone where I can't remember who it was. They threw it, but because he was already trapped and they had it in the grasp, and they called it a safety, but not this time. I think it's because he threw him back into the end zone. Like you said, the forward progress was just outside.
Forward progress was stopped outside of the end zone, about the half-yard line. So,
Mike needs a job in the NFL because you know how I'm calling. I'm calling that a safety, brothers. Listen, Luke. While you're on it, I think you want to bring up the fact of some of how great this defense has played this year, and how this defense compares to some other great defenses, notably the '85 defense, the '94-'95 defense, and our defense just 4 or 5 years, this is about 4 years ago when we went to the Super Bowl. I definitely think this is one of the best defenses we've had in a very, very long time. But again, they're all a little different. They were all, the 84 defense had that great secondary. We had that great D-line 4 years ago, but now we got a great D-line again with, a few up-and-coming secondary players like Lenore and Ward. How are you feeling about our defenses and how it compares to years past, gentlemen?
They're good. They're good, but there was a 1995, 94, 95 defense that was a little better than good, but that's also because things were different then. The salary cap thing was different. They used to be able to, put a lot more money into what they needed back then because they didn't have to worry about all the cap room. So the 94 defense, in my opinion, was a little bit better, but that's also because you had Dion out there.
I was going to say, yeah, that's a game changer.
But then that changes the secondary completely. And then this guy had freaking half of his interceptions that year were touchdowns. That usually doesn't happen very often. So I would have to go with the 94 team myself. But the linebacking core right now is insanely good because of Warner and Greenlaw. So what do you think, Lucas?
Yeah, it's neck and neck. So obviously the 94 team had Dion, and he's probably one of the greatest cornerbacks to ever play the position. But looking at this team, we have guys at every level, secondary, linebackers, and defensive linemen that are all pro players. Bosa, all pro last year, defensive player of the year. Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw. Greenlaw probably should have been a Pro Bowler last year, wasn't, but Fred Warner was an all pro middle linebacker, best at his position. And then in the defensive backfield, you have Hufanga, who made his first all pro and Pro Bowl. And, easily could have probably had maybe one other guy on the team, maybe like Jimmy Ward or Tayshaun Gibson, join him on the Pro Bowl team. So I like the fact that at every level we have somebody who's essentially the top of their position or top 5 at the position. And we just added Javon Hargrave, who's looking through 3 games to be one of the best defensive tackles in the game. I mean, that guy is got one of the highest rush percentage win rates. He plays the run just as well as he does pass rush, and he looks every bit as dominant as he was with the Eagles last season. So love the addition of him. I think the defense is definitely a lot better than it was last year, better than the 2019 team that made the Super Bowl, and can easily be one of the best defenses if we stay healthy that the 49er team has ever had. And I put that with the 1994 team. So I think it's neck and neck. I want to see some more games unfold and see how we are about the halfway point in this league, this season, before I make that determination. But I think the way that we're trending right now, we could easily be the best defense that I've ever seen as a 49er fan.
I agree with you. I think it is very similar to the 94 team, because if you look at the 94 team, we had Pro Bowlers at every level also. You got Merton Hanks as a safety, who was a Pro Bowler. You also had Ken Norton Jr., middle linebacker, fantastic linebacker, and he really hit the prime of his career, I felt, when he came to San Fran. And on the D-line, you were stacked. Dana Stubblefield, Rookie of the Year. Bryant Young, Rookie of the Year, the year before or after. I mean, 2 guys, Rookie of the Year on the D-line, one after the other, Defensive Rookie of the Year, that is. Those 2 teams are very, very similar. But that team went out and they got a ring. Got to give them that, though. So until we get that, I'm going to put the 94 team ahead just by a hair. Just by a hair. Guys, we did not have Brandon Ayuk in this game. I don't think that was a problem. Obviously, you saw what Ronnie Bell can do.
Ronnie Bell.
Ronnie Bell.
Beal, yeah. I don't know why you call him Beal. It's funny though.
I think the announcers, like, from the feed that I get, they kind of, some of them call him that also. So it's the accent of the way one of the guys says it. So I think it kind of rubbed off on me. But
I want to call him Ricky Bell, the running back from the 80s. But yeah, Ronnie Bell.
I'll tell you one thing though. He is gonna. I know you guys mentioned he is gonna be the number 3 next year, because he's gonna be a hell of a lot cheaper than Jawan Jennings would.
Yeah.
And it was Jawan Jennings last year. So I like Jawan Jennings, but just so everyone out there knows, I have a feeling he's going to be gone. What do you think? Even though I like him, he's a good player.
Yeah, Bell's been coming on. They say he's really taken to the position of wide receiver 3 and 4, and making some nice plays on special teams. He had a really nice tackle on a punt, and that's making him essential to the game day squad. He's one of those guys that you want to make him plays on special teams, maybe getting anywhere between 3 to 5 touches a game. He can run the ball a little bit, so that's an added weapon to our offense.
Yeah, he's got that quickness.
He's like a baby Debo. He can break some tackles, make some moves, get some end around, get some quick screens out there. Yeah, like let's use him.
Definitely,
let's use him any way he can. Yeah, so I want to see some more of him. I think Ayuk could have played if this was a playoff game, but I think it was more of a precautionary. Let's just not put him out there 3 days after a hard hit to his shoulder. And
I think it was a good move. Yeah.
Probably some deep bruising, maybe a little pain, a little discomfort. I don't think it's anything too serious. He should be out there by next game.
He wanted
Lucas,
play,
like you said, I like the way Belt ran that out, or that little out pattern to the pylon.
Right.
The way that he just kind of like juked the guy and leaped up and jumped and landed right in the right spot. It was pretty awesome.
And his second catch was pretty unique too, in that it was a pass to Debo that got popped up in the air.
Oh, geez, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And he was just Johnny on the spot and caught it up and caught the deflection up in the air for a nice third down conversion. So
the replay was weird because they showed the replay and you're like, no, I want to see it.
Yeah.
That was cool though.
Luke, what do we call this? Are we calling this the Arango Hater Diaries? What are we calling this?
And now it's time for the Arango Files.
This is my hateness of the week, guys. What's going on with Trent Williams, man? I mean, I don't know if you guys. I'm sure you guys saw that play. He got a lot of beef for it this week. For those of you that don't know, Trent Williams basically took a sucker punch at a player. It's not the first time he does something like this. I question his wisdom, and it makes me want to go, come on, man, because listen, you're gonna hurt your fist on a guy's helmet more than you're gonna hurt the guy's head. So Trent Williams, probably the best offensive tackle in the NFL, definitely the best tackle, I would say. What's wrong with you? What's going on? I don't know what that guy said.
Can we put it into context? So what I saw was at the end of the half, they were taking a kneel down, and whatever his name was on the Giants was kind of being a little chippy and gave Aaron Banks, Trent Williams' line mate, to his right a little extra physicality. He didn't like it. He pushed him. He came in and tried to do a little like fake flinch punch. And Trent Williams just gave him a little close fist, little slap. It was kind of like what you do to your little brother when he's getting lippy. Just kind of give him a little slap to the chin. It didn't knock him out. It didn't hurt him. It was just a little nothing burger.
I'm sure.
I think that's why he wasn't ejected. Like it wasn't much.
Not going to hurt him.
It was just a little, hey, this is what could happen. If you want to bring it, I got some for you.
But it's something that could get him kicked out of a game eventually.
Yeah,
I'm Kyle Shanahan. I'm talking to him immediately.
I think if he really punched him, the guy would have been knocked out, even with the helmet on.
His head did move.
They probably would have ejected him. But
it did move. The guy's neck did move. He did hit him, but
I think Mike has a good point though. When it comes down to it, we can't have someone like Trent Williams getting thrown out of any games because he's the best in the business, and we need him out there. And if he's going to be slapping guys in the face, he's not the best in the business. So we need him to be a better sport than that, and then have someone else do it.
Yeah,
then there's someone else. It doesn't matter.
Hopefully not Greenlaw though, because those two can make a tag team the way they work together. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
Yeah.
But
they look like Raiders.
Talk down in the trenches now with Ortiz. Everyone's our favorite offensive lineman. By the way, Ortiz, I love your background. It is so much nicer than those jail walls.
I'm chilling on the beach. It's actually raining here. I'm in New York right now, and it's been 2 days of miserable rain. Some kind of tropical storm has crept its way up from Florida.
What beach are you at? I must ask, what beach are you at in New York? Because I lived there for so long, I never saw palm trees in New York. I must have missed out on something.
I'm in Bora Bora, or maybe Thailand, somewhere tropical. Anyways,
you never been to Thailand, New York? Okay.
Yeah, I've actually been.
Nice.
So let's get into the trenches. This is another game, another 100-yard game for the offensive line. They had their way with the Giants defensive line. I was a little worried coming to this that the Giants had some pretty big boys up front. Dexter Lawrence is one of the best in the game. Huge defensive tackle. And I thought we were going to have a little difficulty getting the run game going, but no problem. Christian McCaffrey, almost 100 yards. Elijah Mitchell had a nice 20-yard run and contributed to, I think it was about 140 yards on the ground for the team. So Purdy, outside of a couple of coverage sacks, looked pretty clean in protection. Not a lot of pressures, not a lot of hurries. Colton McKivitz didn't give up one pressure, one hurry this game. So I know Mike was giving him shit the last 2 weeks. I texted him back and forth saying, hey, I really like McKivitz's game. He's not really giving up a lot of hurries or pressures or hits. And it was one of his best games. No penalties either. Burford, on the other hand, did not play that great of a game. He had some nice run blocks, but overall, too many pressures, too many hurries. I think he had it was him or Trent Williams had 2 penalties this game. I think it was Trent. Trent had a couple penalties this game, including an offensive holding and that aforementioned punch to the face penalty, which was not great. But overall, he dominated the game when he pass blocks. He usually doesn't give up any pressure, and he didn't this game. The line is just getting better and better every week, and I think we're going to continue to grow and get more yards on the ground and keep pretty clean. So overall, A+ against the Giants. We're getting stronger, boys. The team's looking good. Let's just stay healthy. That's my only worry, is losing one guy at any position is not going to be good. So just got to keep these guys going strong and into the next game.
Luke, your thoughts on what
you worry too much.
Very good.
I worry. I do. I worry about it.
He made a very good point. Ortiz did. If we lose anyone on that O-line, I think we may have some issues. What do you think, Luke? There's not much.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, it's a machine and it's running well right now, and they need to stay healthy for sure. I'm sure we can, intertwine. There could be a couple of puzzle pieces that we're gonna have to, people get hurt, so we're stacked on the depth chart to handle 1 or 2 guys out, but we can't handle Trent Williams getting hurt. So
nope.
we got to keep him healthy. He's the kind of the anchor there on this line, and if he stays healthy, I think he'll be able to make the whole line better every time he goes out there. And so even if some of the other guys go down, we should be good. Keep Trent healthy.
Luke, we have $40 million that we could still spend a little bit this year. If you're playing GM, are you going out and are you looking for some depth at O-line? I think I would.
Maybe. Yeah.
On that right side.
Draft, yeah.
I just one guy at least, so maybe a swing guy or that can move around. But I think I'm bringing in one more player, not necessarily a super high priced player, but I'm bringing someone who's solid, that has experience, that could just be a decent player there.
Especially if we're going to make a run at it, they may need to do something like that.
Right. I wouldn't mind the team looking at some depth to the offensive line, some depth to the wide receiving core, and another cornerback or 2, just as, just security blankets. Like, guys right now are out. So, having a solid backup at the cornerback position and safety position are priorities. For now, I think we're pretty stacked there, but as the season goes along, guys get hurt, especially at those positions. So we need to keep our eyes open as teams start to fall out of the race about mid-season. That's usually when potential trades kind of pop up and guys get cut or bought out of their contracts, and you can pick up some pretty good talent for not a lot of money. Let's see how it goes.
But out of contracts, I'm gonna remember that one.
Yeah, so it happens around mid-season. Guys that don't have guaranteed contracts or maybe do get bought out and are given the option of being a free agent, so they can go to a team like the 49ers who are in contention and maybe get out of a situation like being on the Cardinals or the Chicago Bears, where you just you have a good chance of not making the playoffs. Doesn't look good for those teams right now.
When Ortiz says brought, it sounds like butt with his New York accent. Sorry, I had to throw that out there, bro. Some left here. Guys, what do you think in regard. You see, what do you guys think?
Cardinals on
game
tap,
balls?
huh?
Yeah.
What do you guys want to give out for game balls? I'll go first because I think it makes it more interesting for the last guy. It's got to be Debo for me. He looked like vintage Debo from 2 years ago. He looked absolutely awesome. The guy's got like a will to. He's got this will, and he could just enforce his will on everyone and everything in his path. And he's a better receiver than what he gets credit for. And I know when he came into the league, he's gotten some knack. When he came into the league, a lot of people said that his route running was a little bit more crisp, and he's been kind of losing that a little bit. But he has spent this offseason redefining his technique. And this is, to me, once he gets into a little bit more, maybe a little bit more shape, because he gets winded a lot, I think this is one of the best versions of Debo we've seen. I think he looks awesome out there.
And just when you think he's stuck in fourth gear, he hits a fifth gear. That's what I like about Debo.
He is a very big guy with an uncanny ability to accelerate based on his like size and structure. He doesn't look like he can explode the way he does, but he does. He's a fantastic
He gets
player.
tired and he gets winded, but when he's out there running on the play, on any given play, he gets that quickness that gets away from people.
He's given 100%.
Awesome.
Definitely.
He
Luke,
had an incredible catch and run after where it looked like he broke about 4 or 5 tackles, landed on the ball, and had his wind taken out of him. I was worried, for a second that it might have been some kind of a serious injury, but he took his helmet off. He kind of milked it a little bit. The crowd started chanting his name, and then he pops up like Rod Tidwell and Jerry Maguire.
The Undertaker.
Yeah. And
so I'm gonna give a game ball to Ronnie Bell.
Right.
Yeah, I think just we've already talked about it, but he had a great game. It was his first catch being a touchdown, and I like that it shows depth out there for our receiving core. And I think, like Lucas said, he's got that. He could easily take the job from Jennings even if Jennings is here next year. So he looks good, I think.
All right. I'm going to give mine to Bosa. He had his first sack of the season. Took him 3 games to do it. Another game as the 49ers top graded defender. I think he had about 5 hurries and some pressures and got some tackles for losses. Is
he at full speed yet?
He's almost there. I think he's about, I want to say he's about 90%. It looks like he's still, just kind of getting his wind back and getting his A game. I think he'll be there next week. He's got the little mini bye to get a little stronger, get a little more rest. He had a nice game. He looks every bit the defensive player of the year again. I know a lot of guys are hyping up Micah Parsons and TJ Watt and all these other guys, but from what I've seen, he's still my guy. I'll take him every time. I wouldn't trade him for one single defensive player in the league, and that's just, that's how I feel.
Nice.
He's my dude. He's my dude.
Gentlemen, our next upcoming game, we got those weak little birds coming through town, and this is a team that I'm just licking my chops all over the place about. I can't wait for this game. It's been a while, I almost feel like, since they gave us a hard time or since I was like really threatened by them. So how do you guys feel about this upcoming game? My prediction, man, I don't see them doing anything better than us. I mean, maybe they're water boy or something. So I think this is the game. I know we said this last week and we're all right, but I think this is the game. We just tear them up and really start sitting people a little earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. I'd be surprised if they get 3 field goals. I think that's how bad that team is right now. I'm going to say the Niners steamroll these guys 35-6.
Wow.
How you guys feeling?
Only 35. So I think this is going to be our 50. This is going to be our 50 burger game.
Wow.
We're not going to be stopped. I don't think we're going to punt the ball once, and we'll probably get some couple turnovers from their quarterback Dobbs. I think it's going to be like 51-10. They might get an early touchdown and make it look somewhat interesting in the first quarter, but I don't think this is going to be a close game. I think we're going to boat race them. It's going to be ugly. We're going to want to probably turn it off, but we're going to watch the whole game and see every single score, touchdown.
Debo with 2 minutes left, they're up 50-0.
McCaffrey's going to score twice. Kittle's going to score one, and I think Debo's going to get in. He's going to get in there for a couple. Maybe Ayuk comes back and scores a touchdown. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be an ugly game. Or it's going to be a pretty game for us. It's going to be an ugly game for the Cards. And yeah, we're just going to steam them.
What's their record so far, you guys?
I think they are 1-1 going into Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to destroy them too. Now, sometimes when everyone thinks that we're going to destroy a team, we don't. So I'm going to pick a score more along those lines, that they have a couple of, because they have a mobile quarterback, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, we tend to have problems against them, as people say, but I still am going to say that they're going to score 6 points and we're going to score 38.
So you have it around my score as
38-6.
Yeah.
What was your score?
Off the gas. I think I said 35 to 6, and that's only because I think this is the game for real. We start to take guys out in the fourth quarter earlier.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we take the foot off the gas drastically in the fourth. If not, then I would agree with Ortiz and I say 45, 50. If
50
not,
burger. I'm going 50 burger. Got it. All right.
Luke usually tends to go a little more conservative. I know he's usually like a lower score game. I usually kind of take it kind of like in the middle. Okay, guys. And with that said, this was your show this week. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Get him. Go Niners.
Let's go Niners, baby.
Number one team in the league right now.
Oh.
I love that background, man. Send me a postcard. I want to go there.
I'm gonna go catch some waves, guys. I gotta go. I'll see you later.
All right, guys.
It's raining in this side of Florida, brother. You
keep those power rankings going. All right, guys.
Go Niners.
Go Niners. Later. Cool.
Stick9er Empire Podcast. You guys have a great night.
All right, guys.
Be safe, guys.
Take care.
See you guys.